Good evening and happy Sunday. This is Potter Stocks coming to you guys with a quick rundown of what I got going on this week. We did have a discussion last week about the lack of data, and we're going to take a look at the Forex Factory here to start things off. But Monday and Tuesday, and I'm fitting my schedule around this. FOMC members Bostic, Barr, Waller, Jefferson, Mester, Waller, Barkin, Williams, Barr, Mester, Williams are just taking up most of Monday and Tuesday. And while that typically can drive a few spikes here and there, we have found consistently over the years that during these, maybe exception Yellen, typically the market will stay in range. And we do have a couple of setups that back up that theory. Obviously, Q's breaking up into new highs with a little bit of a pullback. It's definitely possible that we see a little bit of building before we move into the rest of the week, where we do have FOMC meeting minutes and unemployment claims Wednesday and Thursday. Obviously, this is what we're looking for as far as volatility driving. But Monday and Tuesday are probably going to be off days for me, where I'm just probably going to show up and then step out 10:30, 11 o'clock if there's no volume. Last week was too profitable for me to be sitting around and waiting if the market isn't moving. So now, on the contrary, we do have a couple things that we know will likely move. We do have some earnings this week. I want to highlight a couple of names here. Palo Alto is always an interesting one. Obviously, risk reward on that one. I did chart trip, and if you guys want, you can go to my Twitter where I've retweeted or reposted my charts on some of these. But we do have interesting names going into Tuesday. Macy's, Lowe's. Macy's actually looks kind of interesting. AutoZone, XPVE. Obviously, we are looking at a couple of EV names this week, so this will be interesting. And then Wednesday, Target, TJ Maxx. Those are probably two that most of you guys are the most familiar with. Petco, it also has earnings as well. NVIDIA, Snowflake, ELF, which I am actually a heavy equity holder in ELF, are all coming in after the close on Wednesday. Now, to start Thursday off, we have Ralph Lauren, which the chart actually looks relatively, I'll just show you really quickly. It actually looks pretty interesting on the weekly. You've got structure up above. You've got structure way down below. You've got a stock price that's probably going to offer some decent movement. So I like this setup going into earnings, but you also have TD, which is always an interesting setup as well. Polestar coming in with the EV names. And then to finish off with the week, we've got Intuit, Ross, Workday, as some of the bigger names that you guys might be familiar with that I will be watching, and we will be charting to see if there's any low risk, high reward opportunities there. Now, going into this week, the watch list is a little bit spread out. We've successfully traded a couple of different names. We were able to trade BA. BA will be on the watch list this week as it did step outside of its range. Still targeting that 187.50 floor, maybe even down to 190.55 this week. I like this one, especially knowing that we are outside of this area of containment or area of consolidation. So that's going to be a potential retest level if it already has. So we have a clear target up above us on that one. Tesla, which is another stock that I'm watching, could be potentially forming an uptrend here with a nice little channel here to the downside, sitting underneath our trigger, which is 182.50. We like that one to potentially push us up to the 194, obvious. And then beyond, where there's a lot of empty space, and if you guys know me, that is what I want to target here. So we could see highs even into the 230s potentially, but we will be looking at this first green candle over here to our left and the range that's closest to us at the 200s and 212s. We also have a couple of different stocks that we're kind of, adding to the watch list, but more or less looking for those triggers to fire. NEO was one that we really liked last week. We did end up taking positions. Those ended up failing. We ended up getting stopped out of those or just completely exiting those positions. And we are potentially looking at a leg down underneath 505 to go and bounce off of 475, where this play is valid. There is a solid target to the upside on NEO at $7 above 585. I really, really like this trade. If it fires, all we have to do is let it cook. SQ, which when you go out to the weekly, starts to kind of make a little bit more sense. you have a box or an area of consolidation that we are currently sitting on top of. And we've got an area of containment, if you will, that we're currently inside of. And this is the 1, 2, 3, 4th week going into our 5th week of being inside of this range. We also have a, you could call it a channel, if you will, that is forming here on down to the hourly and the daily 1, 2, 1, 2. So outside on SQ 75.50, I like that one to move up into the 80s. And maybe even go for that third tap up here, which would likely be right around there. And that's 90.31. So those are the main stocks that I have on my watch list. Obviously, we've got some of the old favorites here that stay on the revolving back and forth on the watch list. Google, it's not really something that I'm looking forward to taking. It is well above that 174 mark. So obviously going into next week, there's only the imbalance target at 178 that we need to cross, and we could be looking at a new high up in the 190s for Google. Cart, which is an old equity hold, those of you guys who traded this one with me, really, really successful trade. It's starting to look a little more interesting. Hasn't given me any triggers yet, and it does have this crazy amount of empty space underneath it, and I've stayed hedged, but it's starting to pull itself back off. And what we usually do here is we take that empty space and we split it in half, and we bounce right off of that $32 mark. So what I'm looking for here is to recover and move back up above 37 and end this lower high nonsense that we have going on here, and maybe look for a new high on Cart. Other than that, folks, this week, again, there is no forcing trades. BA, and as far as day trades are concerned, BA, Tesla are some of the stocks that are looking good going into this week, and I will be focused on those. But my watch list is open. We will be watching our scanners, which I'm not a huge scanner guy, but we will be looking for opening gaps, big gaps overnight, big gaps over the weekend, hopefully going to allow us to see some continuation to the upside via grabbing onto our floors up above us. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful evening. I will be on tomorrow morning in the Discord at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. And hopefully I'll catch you guys there. If you guys are not in the Discord and you want to sign up, simplestacksinvestments.com. Please make sure that you cancel before if you have a trial or anything like that, before that trial runs out. We had some issues this week, but otherwise, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Peace out. Thanks for watching.